Welcome to the original rock and wrestling radio show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Layne.
I want to say greetings, good evening, how you doing? Okay, I'm not going to use the cheesy NSYNC reference that everybody's going to use, that they already have been using on social media.
I was going to say, you mean that everybody's already been using?
Yeah, pretty much. And then I'm not going to wait 3 more days and use the Star Wars reference. I'm just going to say...
no, that one's socially acceptable.
It is?
Well, one, because Star Wars, made the resurgence, but it's apropos, because that's technically National Star Wars Day.
Oh, okay.
God, where have you been, Eddie? National Star Wars Day has been a thing for a while.
I've known about it for about 3 years.
Brother, it's been, back, I think it really kind of regained popularity when they brought back the episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think that's really when it kicked back up.
1, 2, and 3, or 4, 5, and 6?
What 4, 5, and 6 would be the 70s and the 80s. That's 1, 2, and 3. A couple years in there.
Well, see, for some people, 4, 5, and 6 is 1, 2, and 3.
For some people, they're retarded.
Like some people on social media right now. By the way, speaking of social media things that actually make me laugh in a good way, I've got to give all the credit in the world to a longtime mutual friend of ours, Tunsy, Adam Coffey. Picture that he posted and did a picture association where he tagged certain people in the Cobra Kai shot. Yeah, that was funny.
I told you last week, the guy's got a sense of humor.
Oh, hell yeah. And I'm sitting back really appreciating it. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in this evening through BeyondRingside.com as well as ProWrestlingRadio.net and all the facilities up and down the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Normally in days gone by, we would have called it a pay-per-view. But considering everything that takes place right now, I like to call it either a $9.95 per view or, as they like to call it now, a live event on the WWE Network. The formerly known as a pay-per-view thing called Payback kicks...
Well, technically they are still on, where people can pay to, view them, so technically they're still pay-per-view.
Logistically speaking, not anymore.
Logistically speaking, if I could still turn on my digital receiver and go to the appropriate channel and press the button and pay an exorbitant amount of money other than paying $9.99, then, yeah, it's technically still a pay-per-view in that aspect.
And of course, with Payback coming up in a few, but of course, it was made public earlier today that Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin was being moved to the kickoff show, which means...
What?
Yeah, that has been out there. They, believe it or not, WWE.com actually took a page out of my playbook and updated a website on time.
No, you never did that.
I do it every once in a while. Just haven't really done it all the time. However, did you get a chance to catch the Briscoes versus Gallows Anderson from Ring of Honor TV this week?
Heck, yeah. But I was more excited with the appearance of the well, I'm going to say lesser known, but to the American general populace, lesser known Bullet Club members of Fale and Tama Tonga and Scott Hall's kid Cody Hall,
right,
and the Japanese Val Venus.
Okay, like that reference, nicely played.
Well, I mean, it's not a reference. I think that's actually what somebody had said he was at one point.
I've got to sit.
Just joining the Bullet Club.
I will sit back and say this from the get-go, all over again, folks. If you have an opportunity to catch replays or the first runs of Ring of Honor television,
don't rely on your DVR because, still once again.
Oh, it didn't?
No, I happen to remember because I was here. It still is not listing Sunday or Saturdays as new.
That's weird because mine is.
I'm going to have to switch it from first runs to any time it's on. So.
And also go ahead and just unplug your DVR and let the whole system reboot. Sometimes that helps.
We've had too many issues with that, though.
There you go. And on top of everything else, it always works better if a power outage hits.
But speaking of the Ring of Honors,
yes.
Have you heard?
No. What am I supposed to have heard?
Now keep in mind this was on the dirt sites, but
oh God.
No, just calm down. Okay, just calm down.
Continue.
It is rumored that Sinclair Broadcasting, those who pretty much own Ring of Honor,
correct,
are looking to purchase TNA.
Oh, wow.
That is the rumor on the dirt sites.
Now,
because one, they mainly want them because of their extensive library. They're kind of pulling events. McMahon, not Russo. If it was Vince Russo, boom. So, but Sinclair Broadcasting is looking to rebrand. They have the Tennis Network or the Tennis Channel, and they are looking to rebrand that as the American Sports Channel, and wanting to put not only ROH, but because they're talking about bumping it up to 2 hours, but also putting TNA if they can get a hold of it.
See, I'm going to sit back and say this point blank. Ring of Honor is good at 1 hour.
I'd have to disagree with you, because I think it would behoove them to maybe try 2 hours. You can get a couple more matches in, and although that's the different thing about Ring of Honor is that they shy away from heavy on the storylines.
Yeah.
Maybe you could kind of further things along a little bit, and people don't have to wait so long. Say for like the issues with Donovan Dijak and the House of Truth, or when it was like every third week we got the Silas Young, which is still technically I think going on, Dalton Castle, angle, or you got different things going on. So, with it maybe being 2 hours, it'll give them a little bit more opportunity to, so people won't have to sit there and wait through 3 weeks or 4 weeks out.
And I just realized something. Speaking of Ring of Honor.
What's that? That they have a pay-per-view next week? 1
week from tonight.
Tonight?
To which, yes, apparently, hold this thought, kids. Hold the phone.
Ring of Honor is not... If I drop it, I can't talk.
Okay. Ring of Honor is actually not doing a Friday pay-per-view. They're not doing a Saturday pay-per-view. They're actually, the pay-per-view, iPay-per-view video on demand will be available and is on 1 week from tonight, Sunday, May 8th, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, from the Frontier Fieldhouse, 9807 Sayre Avenue in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. So, we may have a problem next week. I'll be doing a pay-per-view at the house. I doubt it, though.
Yeah, I doubt it too.
I'll bring the money. We'll do it at your place.
If it's the same facility that they always run out of in Chicago Ridge. Well, see, I don't know. I mean, I'm talking. You got to go back almost 10 years.
Yeah, it's the Frontier Fieldhouse.
I've been to that facility. That's where I saw Samoa Joe, CM Punk 2, actually. Because they did 3 of them. That's where I saw 2.
Matter of fact, go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's where I got to. That's actually where I got to meet CM Punk. Was in Chicago Ridge, possibly at that field house. I mean, because the only other Ring of Honor show I went to was in Dayton, Ohio, and that was his farewell tour because he had his match with. That's the night he dropped the belt to Jamie. Well, it was a 4-way, and I want to say Jamie Noble picked it up. And then he had his farewell match against CM Punk the next night in Chicago Ridge. Like this was like a year or so later. So
right.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Chicago Ridge Fieldhouse. Chicago Ridge, buddy, where 99% of the establishments, if you need to stay, you're going to pay by the hour, if you know what I'm saying. I believe that not F palaces, and we all know what the F stands for. That's what we called them.
Yeah.
So we also stopped, and this was in October, so, and of course me in shorts, And you know when you can make people from Illinois look at you in the middle of October, and you're walking around in shorts and a long sleeve shirt, and they're looking at you like, you are insane. But yeah, that's where we stopped. I think it was a Greek place. I think that's where we was. And the lovely Greek gentleman behind the counter welcomed us with the phrase, "Hey, it's cold as mother F outside." We were like, "Yes, it is, dude. You are awesome." So, great little town, Chicago Ridge. If you want a hooker.
Okay. Thanks for sharing.
Go ahead. But anyway, yeah, wow, that's kind of a shot there. That was a Sunday night. Wow, that's
amazing.
Well, yeah.
8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time.
Wow.
And folks, we're slated to be joined.
I don't really know what to say.
Well, I'd like to get the promo out for our special guest in a second.
Oh, you mean Potty Mouth McGee?
Oh, you're not going to let that go, are you?
I'm not going to bring it up. Well, she's probably listening right now.
She's listening, I'll bet you.
She needs to return my instant message, so I need to know if she needs the phone number or not. No, I'm kidding. I love that girl. She's funny.
But we are going to be joined by Babs from Excellence Professional Wrestling, and I do want to get one of the first questions is going to be, I know that she was preparing things to work on an audio project, and I'm going to find out if that has actually moved closer to fruition. And I'm also going to invite Babs to stick around and be a guest picker for the Backlash prediction round. I mean, Payback prediction round. Son of a buzzard.
You did it again, man. Well, I mean, in all fairness, ladies and gentlemen,
Fast Eddie Layne has taken one too many chair shots to the head over the years.
Well, no, but for years, Backlash was actually the post-Mania pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was.
So.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yeah. So. Eddie's not completely at fault. He's much like he's lived the rest of his life. He's
in the past.
Still living in the past, yeah.
Except for last night, which technically isn't the past, even though it is the past day. I'm going to go ahead and say this. First off, congratulations to, I will sit back and say, the undisputed GCW Tag Team Champions. And that would be Mad Dog Dan Sawyer and Leon the Bull Stresser, having won this, the unification match last night against the Brotherhood.
You mean cheated to win? See, if I would have been there...
I'm going to hit you.
Then
I'm going to hit you.
If I would have been there last night...
You'd have done nothing.
I know. I could have pointed out, because let me guess, it was that little Polish tard freaking Kowanowitz calling the match, wasn't it?
Believe it or not, I don't remember. We have 3 referees, and 2 of who you know, in addition to Kowanowitz.
Well.
J.P. McGregor.
Huh?
J.P. McGregor.
I don't know him.
You know Jesse Payne McGregor.
What?
And also the return of an original ZWO member last night.
Come on.
Timmy Feldman. Glad to have him back in the fold. Welcome home to the family, my friend.
Oh, man. See, now I wish I would have been there.
Yeah, I know. You'd have marked out.
knowing it was probably Kowanowitz, and everybody knows that Kowanowitz is in the back pocket and on the front of the pants of Mad Dog Dan Sawyer.
Now.
So, I mean, that's probably why, once again, the 5th grade name made up of Mad Justice so could have went with Bulldogs. I don't understand why they didn't. It would have made more sense. I'm sure, and I have no doubt, that Kowanowitz was on the take once again, and the Brotherhood was screwed over. I'm just saying.
Also,
was Howard C. Cross there?
Yes, matter of fact, he was the manager for the Brotherhood as well as the manager for Veronica Fairchild in the Ladies Challenge match when Veronica Fairchild took on the Bullet Babe, the NWA Women's World Champion Amber O'Neal Gallows.
And how did that fare?
We are going to have a championship versus championship match. This is an exclusive for Beyond Ringside Live. Yes. Saturday night, May 28th, in the Pell City Civic Center in Pell City, Alabama, Global Warfare 2016. Hashtag GCW Global Warfare. Veronica Fairchild will put the GCW Ladies Championship on the line. Amber O'Neal Gallows, if she is still the NWA Women's World Champion, will put that championship on the line. Saturday, May 28th, the NWA Women's title against the GCW Ladies title. And
I just hope that Howard C. Cross is at ringside with Veronica to make sure that there's no shenanigans. Because, I mean, look, I have all the love and respect in the world for Big Doc Gallows. I don't trust his old lady. I don't trust her.
Do not start ish with Gallows. I do not want that right now.
I'm not starting with him. I'm just saying I don't trust his wife.
And she could probably still military press you.
She probably could. I doubt it, though. I've gained a lot of weight recently.
But she's still that much of a badass.
I don't know. But like I said, I don't trust her.
Also, there is a brand new GCW heavyweight champion.
Me.
No.
You.
No.
Probably Mad Dog Dan Sawyer. He probably
no.
weaseled his way around the front office and won the belt.
Nope, didn't happen. Oh, the first class, second to none, third generation wrestling superstar, the Dream Killer, Eric Wayne, is the new GCW heavyweight champion.
Shut up.
Defeated Spiral last night. Now, I know what I would say in this circumstance, but I know you, the second that I tell you this, you're going to have some kind of spin on it. So we're going to go back into gorilla brain mode here. Unfortunately, the referee during the main event was involved in a physical situation where he was rendered incapable of continuing. In other words, the ref got knocked down.
Okay.
During this time where the ref was trying to get his wits back about him, Eric Wayne threw a fireball and caught Spiral straight in the face, and then came over, grabbed the ref, brought him over. Ref had just enough presence of mind to count 3 without seeing everything else that was going on. So we have a brand new GCW heavyweight champion in Global Championship Wrestling.
Ask you this: where was Wicked Nemesis in all this?
At ringside.
And what did Wicked Nemesis do to prevent the fireball? For he himself being a master of the fireball as well.
He was not able to get there in time. Wick had been in a situation earlier in the evening during the Clyde Braddock-Francisco Chiazzo face-off where Wick had taken some physical abuse from Francisco, so he was not at 100% for the main event either. Or not.
And yet he was still out there like the true manager of champions that he is.
Trooper.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this much, and I know the way Wicked Nemesis thinks, or at least a portion of it. And I, honestly, if you can get away with it and don't get caught, win if you can, lose if you must, is always cheap.
See, I told you he was going Bobby Heenan for a minute there, kids.
Then I think, if nothing else, Wicked Nemesis would at least respect that Eric Wayne got away with it. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, no, never mind. So, I think, that Wicked Nemesis at least respects that. But being the maniacal mastermind of manipulation that he is, I'm sure that he has already petitioned the Global Championship Wrestling front office into getting a return match for Spy-Rao.
We are going to find out the logistics of this situation.
Oh, no. It shouldn't be any logistics. It was that, obviously everyone
remember,
saw it. I'm sure that there
Global
footage.
Warfare is next month.
I'm sure that the footage is still around thanks to T.J. Burks and his film crew. Even though the refs, much like anywhere, the refs' word is final.
Yes.
I'm sure, though, that if there was any common sense in the Global Championship Wrestling front office, I highly doubt that, they would immediately grant Spy-Rao a rematch for the Global Championship Wrestling heavyweight title without any question. And if they don't, then it once again proves that they have a hidden agenda against both Spy-Dash Rao and the Wicked Nemesis, as well as probably because he's a third-generation superstar, they're probably secretly on the take from the Dream Killer, Eric Wayne. Not that I have anything against that. I mean, if somebody wants to bribe me to say something nice, I will be more than glad to. I can be bought at a fairly reasonable price. Not for $9.99, which the WWE Network is per month, and they will be showing Payback in a little bit.
And folks, you wonder why I stopped doing drugs. I don't have to. I listen to MaBo go on one of these runs, and it's like I'm high all over again. The hell with the 80s.
He just gets upset because I dropped that knowledge candy in his cerebellum, and it takes him on the trip, on the fantastic voyage, on the floaty clouds of cotton candy and sparkly glitter. He dances with unicorns and makes paper dolls with mermaids.
That would be the title of your autobiography.
And my sex tape.
There you go. I was waiting on that one. Do me also real quick. I'm going to have updates throughout the course of the next couple of weeks. Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio will come back to the Beyond Ringside family of shows, as well as ProWrestlingRadio.net Tuesday night, May 17th. So for wrestling fans in and around the great state of Alabama, definitely tune in. We will have you on the information superhighway as everything with global warfare falls into place. But the only thing I'm able to really talk about right now is the fact that, yes, the GCW, the champion versus championship match will take place on the 28th. Amber O'Neal Gallows, the NWA Women's Champion, versus Veronica Fairchild, the GCW Ladies Champion. That one will be solidified. We've already got an agreement in principle. Contracts are going to be forwarded out on Monday. Everything should be good on that part. From there, also, we will find out who will be in the cage elimination main event for Global Warfare Saturday, May 28th. Looking forward to it. Like I said,
I'll tell you who it's not going to be.
You.
It's not going to be May.
Although it's going to be in the month of May.
It's going to be in May.
That's what your friend said, and your proctologist, too.
He did, Dr. Longfinger.
There you go. But we got a few minutes before the top of the hour. I want to go and take a look at a couple of these. Speaking of ladies' matches, Women of Honor match. Before the pay-per-view, it's going to start around 6:35 p.m. Central Time. Kelly Klein versus Crazy Mary Dobson. MaBo, I know you're a fan of definitely 1 out of 2, if not 2 out of 2 on that one.
I've heard of Klein before. Hadn't seen too much on her. But, yeah, Crazy Mary Dobson, you know, making a name, making her way downtown, walking. Done some stuff for NXT. Done some stuff for the TNAs, you know, still hopping and bopping around. So, you know me, I always go for the chicks that's got crazy in their name anyway. So.
That normally fits when it comes to you, too. Let's see. Kelly Klein, based out of the great state of Ohio.
Straight out of Compton. Sorry.
Yeah. Wish we could have had a chance to get a little bit more heads up on the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. She's faced off against some of the most recognizable names like Marty Bell, Candice LeRae, Taylor Hendricks, Solo Darling, Samantha Starr. She has competed in
Solo Darling.
She's competed in AIW as well as IWA East Coast, the Pro Wrestling Syndicate, Covey Promotions, Ultimate Championship Wrestling, Ring of Honor, of course, Vicious Outcast Wrestling, Shimmer. So, building a resume, and would definitely, like I said, looking forward to that. So that one is definitely a match that I'm going to keep my eyes open for. Once again, that is next Sunday night. Also, Tag Team Championships from Ring of Honor on the line. Mark and Jay Briscoe take on War Machine. MaBo?
I mean, they've had the War Machine, they've had a good run, but this is definitely going to be the measuring stick. Either the belts are coming back home to them boys, or this will prove that Hanson and Rowe deserve their spot in Ring of Honor.
I would sit back and say that Hanson and Rowe have earned their spot on more than one occasion. They've done a remarkable job in the time that they've been together, and they genuinely reflect a team that has been teaming together longer than they have. I'm at a little bit of a loss because I am trying to remember, and I know that it's recent, but by the same token, I'm trying to remember when when the Briscoe brothers recaptured the tag titles.
Well, I couldn't tell you because I'm getting old, but
we'll work on that concept. Tell you what, folks, we're going to go to the top of the hour break. When we come back, like I said, good friend of the family, Babs, will be joining us right here on Beyond Ringside Live. Stay tuned. This is BR Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
Jim Cornette, you are locked into the show of all time Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Better believe it, the music plays, the microphones go hot, and we are LIVE live on this Sunday night edition. First day of May, April in the books. Bye, April. It's been nice knowing you. Fast Eddie Layne on this side of the control panel. Mark MaBo Bowman, welcome back in, brother.
don't tickle me like that.
That would be the best long-distance run. You must be talking to one of the doggone guinea pigs. And like to welcome in good friend of the family, Babs. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Eddie, MaBo, thank you for having me back on the show.
If you said you didn't hear the opening segment of the program, so I'm going to go ahead and bombshell you with this one right off the bat before we get started. You had made a reference the last time that you were on that you were getting ready to put things in the works for an audio project of your own. Has that come to fruition yet?
Actually, it has. I had a few different ideas, but right now I am doing a show. It's called the Funkenstein Wrestling Roundup. It's every other Tuesday live at 9 p.m., and it's an interview show. So I interview personalities. I round them up, these personalities and people throughout wrestling, and we talk about wrestling and what they do and how that relates to the whole. I've had some really interesting people so far. I've done a few shows. My first guest was Colin West, who does commentary for UWA Elite, and he owns CTW, which has Changed the World Wrestling, which is really cool as a charity organization. They sponsor shows and support different charities. Then I got the opportunity to interview WWE Hall of Famer Cowboy Bob Orton, which was amazing. And I'm really sad because he and I drove together, and we had really awesome conversations that never weren't taped, recorded, and I really wish they would have been because they were just awesome. He was amazing to talk to. And I had some experiences. I was there at Big Event 10. I was helping out Damage 365, and the Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore had sponsored some signees. So basically the whole day I sat next to Cowboy Bob, and that was a crazy experience, just all the legends who were coming up to say hi to him. Ric Flair was literally like 2 feet away from me. Like out of nowhere he showed up. I was like, where did Ric Flair come from? And it was interesting because my brain like shut off. Just being in the presence of the Nature Boy, it just shut off. And all of a sudden, it was like pure mark out. It was crazy. And he had paparazzi and his bodyguard. It was styling and profiling for real. It was insane. It was really cool. And he was such a nice guy. Cowboy Bob is very down to earth, very, very nice man. So that was a really cool opportunity. I've spoken with CZW champion Matt Tremont, who's another just awesome person to
Bulldozer.
talk to. He does so many different things now within wrestling, from being active competitor, doing the death matches, and working with CZW and being their champion, to On Point Wrestling. And then Bulldozer's Collectibles, which is his store. So he's doing all kinds of really cool stuff. And then I talked with Yolanda from Gimmicks, which is great. Yolanda, she not only designs gear, as a matter of fact, she designs gear for Antonio Cesaro. And she does shirts. She runs the merch for Chikara. So we talked about branding and all sorts of things like that. It was really interesting. And then this week, I had on Scott Finkelstein, who is a wrestling photographer. So he was talking about taking pictures and his fandom and all kinds of just great stuff and really cool things that he's been through. And it takes a lot to be a wrestling photographer. It's really difficult. So I don't know if I could do it. But it was really cool to hear him talk about it and just really interesting stuff. So it's been really great so far. Coming up next in 2 weeks, I'll have on Scumbag Nation, who is Logan Black and Rude Boy Riley. So that should be really interesting. It should be a little chaotic, but I expect it'll be a good time. It's really interesting. I've been learning a lot from all the different people I'm talking to, just their different little bits of knowledge and things that they drop on me. It's really interesting.
I would like to extend an invitation, and I said this in private last time, and I'll take it public this time. You are more than welcome to shoot me the audio, and I will put it in rotation over here on Beyond Ringside as well as ProWrestlingRadio.net.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We're part of a Damage 365 radio, so I have to make sure that's okay. I don't know how that all works. But I would love to do that, and I think that'd be great. And I would love to have, either one of you guys on if you want to talk about podcasting and wrestling and different things. I know we've talked a little bit about Southern wrestling. If you want to talk about that, I would love to have either one of you guys on to talk with me about that stuff. We can definitely set something up once the show's over.
Cool. Definitely.
I would love to have that. So I'm really proud of that project so far. Like I said, it's been there's a lot of different bits of wisdom and things I've learned from all the different people I've talked to. It's amazing.
Now, it broadcasts live through where?
It's on Spreaker. It's part of the Damage 365 radio network. And it's just like it is, a Funkenstein Wrestling Roundup. You look that up and you can listen live as it happens. So usually a link goes out. I usually send a bunch of links out, before the show so people can, click on it and listen and enjoy the conversation.
Very cool. I wish you the utmost in success. I hope the project continues to grow. I really do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hard segue. Actually, before we do, MaBo, anything you want to comment about the project she's working on?
No, I mean, whenever I get a chance, I kind of like it and kind of I don't know what you call it on Facebook, retweet it, share it.
Thank you. I do. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten for it. Everyone who listens, the people who participated and spoken with me. I really just appreciate that. They've taken their time out, and I hope I've given them a good platform to share their views and promote their upcoming events and things like that. So, and I appreciate everyone, who retweets and shares that. It means a lot. The support means a lot to me.
Well, when you have Scum Nation on, you said in 2 weeks?
Scumbag Nation will be on in 2 weeks, which is good. It gives me time to kind of recover from this little cold. So they'll be on May 10th. They'll be on at 9 p.m. Eastern live.
Well, make sure you ask Rude Boy Riley because, one big past guest of ours, but he's actually right now. Eddie, would they still be going on right now?
I think show might have ended. No, it may still be going on knowing AWE.
Yeah, right now. Rude Boy Riley's right, an hour and a half from us?
2 hours.
2 hours over in Atlanta right now wrestling. So with him being a Northeast boy, you might want to ask him how he acclimated to the Southern style.
That's a good question, actually, because that is very different. So that's very cool. I'll add that to my question. Thank you.
Well, let me go ahead and give you a preface on that one because having worked with AWE before, they actually prefer to refer to themselves as Southern Strong Style. They actually refuse to, owner Josh Wheeler refuses to allow him to be lumped into the mold of, or the, what is the word, the trap, so to speak, or the stereotype of traditional Southern wrestling. And he has done everything possible, and I commend him for the move because everybody should have their own identity as far as the presentation of their product. And he's taken a very hands-on approach to that. And Josh, like I said, the term Southern Strong Style for him is not just a slogan, it's a business approach.
That's fine.
So,
I like that. Southern Strong Style. I like it. It has a good sound to it, and it really kind of conveys the sort of atmosphere and what he's going for. I like that a lot. That's very cool.
Oh, trust me. I know the fact that I believe now you're based out of what city?
Close city to me is Philadelphia.
You're probably about 15 and a half hours away from Atlanta. Get a plane.
Unfortunately, it takes me 8 hours to get to North Carolina, and the CWF Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
So it's an 8-hour drive from here, so it's quite a bit further.
That is a little bit of a trip. Now,
a little bit of a drive.
You mentioned CWF Mid-Atlantic, and I want to say, God, if I hit the wrong company, I'll say it off air just to make sure I didn't get the wrong one in my brain. Because I know we've actually got some mutual acquaintances that run CWF Mid-Atlantic, and from there now you're making that trip on a regular basis, or is this when the opportunity arises?
Oh no, this was I have never worked for them. I know like people who work for them and do things with them, and they're a really cool company, and they have a beautiful building. Chikara, when they go down North Carolina, that's where they run shows out of their building. It's a wonderful building, and the people down there are just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Speaking of buildings you can make yourself at home in, 2118 Old Bethlehem Pike in Sellersville.
Ooh, that was a wonderful segue. I like that.
Thank you very much. Occasionally I get something right. Not that much, but occasionally I get something right.
You did that one good. I like that.
Thank you.
I like it.
Now, also known as Forest Lodge, it will be playing host on May 14th, Saturday, 2 weeks from yesterday, to Excellence Professional Wrestling as they proudly present Smelly Cat.
Yeah. Yes,
Gorgeous
I know.
Queen.
Every time I say it, too, I laugh as well. It's a funny title. To a very funny song, if you remember the song from Friends. Although I like to spell the rumors that the name of the thing does not coincide with Edgar Excellence. He's fed very well and taken very good care of.
Oh, he looks. I mean, his pictures. By the way, he wasn't. If I'm not mistaken, he was a little bit under the weather not too long ago, right?
Yeah, he was. But as far as I hear, he's bounced back and he's doing much better. So.
Well, I mean, if anybody's ever seen a picture of Mr. Edgar Excellence, and you see that shiny black coat of his, you could tell that he is the antithesis of a smelly cat.
This is true. This is very true. So unlike the song is not based on reality. It's not based on reality here.
Well, no, I've noticed that's
the stop that rumor.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean, I've noticed kind of the theme for the names of the events this year for Excellence Pro is feline based, whereas last year, if I'm not mistaken, was had the running theme and the sequential order of say going out to eat to a restaurant or possibly a fine meal at home.
Yeah, very much. So this year it's definitely Edgar wanted something a little more feline themed, and so we were supposed to have started off with Let the Cat Out of the Bag. We were snowed out,
yes,
but
I remember that.
Yeah, we were a victim of the blizzard, which was actually as big as they said it was going to be on TV, which is pretty amazing. Usually it's not, but then we started with Kittens Mittens, and then we've had Scratching Post, and now we're on to Smelly Cat.
Now, and moving on to that, I know we'll touch on the card in a minute, but I do want to bring up because Excellence Pro, they've got a thing where they're setting up for, most companies will just have a tournament for your for the title, but you guys have got a thing where you have to have 10 wins to qualify for how many slots, if I'm not mistaken, if there's slots?
There are going to be 8 slots in the Excellence Championship tournament.
Yes, but you have to have 10 wins to qualify for a slot.
Yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last time we spoke, there was only one person who had qualified, but that has changed in recent days, if I'm not mistaken.
It has changed. Last time I was on, The very first person and the only person at that time to have qualified was Hal Wicked. And we've had 2 more people qualify. So the second person to qualify was the Boar of Moldova. And then the third person who just qualified at Scratch and Post was Gran Akuma.
Now, the question is the tournament going to take place as soon as 8 people do qualify, or are there going to be exceptions and possibly additional play? I love this term nowadays. Thank you, NCAA men's basketball and women's basketball tournament. Are there going to be play-in matches?
As far as I know, it starts once we have 8 gentlemen who are 8 roster members who get up to 10, wins. I'm not aware that there's going to be any any kind of wild card or anything like that. So.
Just curious on that one, because I know that can actually take a while. But now, Excellence, for those who do not know, Excellence runs on what kind of a scale? Once a month, twice a month? I know that you've got the show coming up on the 14th.
We run once a month. It's the second Saturday of the month in Sellersville, like you mentioned, at the Forest Lodge, which is a wonderful place. It really is tremendous. It's got nice lighting. It's very, very friendly feeling. It's a very nice place. But yeah, we run once a month on second Saturday.
Now, already slated to take place, if I remember correctly. I know that 2 of the people that are higher up in the win bracket, of course, Hal Wicked slated to be in action on the 14th. I know that you've got Icarus slated to be in action on the 14th as well. Matter of fact, if my page will reload because I didn't copy and paste it like I normally do. There we go.
Always copy and paste.
Yeah, I know. That's one of the things. Is like I'm one of the first ones to say it and one of the last ones to do it every other week.
Yeah, of course.
Havoc and
you're not saying don't do as I do.
Exactly. Now, tag team challenge match: Havoc and Icarus taking on Hal Wicked and Blind Rage on the 14th, right?
Yes, and this comes out of the fallout from Scratching Post. Hal Wicked and Blind Rage have really underhanded, devious sort of tactics to help win their matches and things like that. So we saw a lot of powder being thrown. And and there was some miscommunication between Icarus and Havoc, but I don't think it's going to be a problem when we go into the next show, which we go into Smelly Cat. I think Icarus and Havoc are going to be on the same page, and I think Hal Wicked and Blind Rage are really a formidable duo. They're very devious. They'll do whatever it takes to win, and they've shown that time and time again. But I think they're really going to face a real challenge in the unified team of Icarus and Havoc. So.
Also slated to take place, also in tag team action, one night only, taking on Unspeakable, right?
Yes. One night only is back in action. They are still undefeated. And that's Anthony Gangone and Mark Quinn. They are undefeated team, and they've gone up against serious competition in the past. They've taken on teams like the Assyrian Portal, the Vatiri. So that undefeated streak really says a lot about their talent and their skill as a team. And this match has been a few months in the making between these two. I know Nick has had problems with one night only since September of last year. So this has been going on for a few months. And finally, him and Smiley, who together are known as Unspeakable, they will get their shot. And, of course, they're going to have Ariel and Nix in their corner as well.
MaBo, do me a favor. Come on board. Got a question about one of the 2 matches we've spoken about.
Well, I know for a fact, everybody knows, the history between Icarus and Hal Wicked, pretty much since their day's training. They've not seen eye to eye. And then, also, Hal Wicked and Blind Rage are they're no strangers to each other, from, if I remember correctly, and please forgive me, a little bit of an onset of a migraine starting to kick in thanks to the beautiful weather here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They were together as a night shift in Chikara, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true, and actually the third member of that trio was Ichabod Slane, who became Icarus in season 2.
Icarus. So, yeah, they kind of all tie together. And then, of course, this past Chikara, the Challenge of the Immortals, Hal Wicked had Blind Rage on his team. So It's gonna be interesting. I mean, you know, Icarus, he knows, but he doesn't know. If you get where I'm going.
And what else have we got coming up on the 14th? I'll turn the card back over in your direction.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this, but they do know each other very well. And that's very true. So not just from what they've done in Chikara, but also they've faced several times in Excellence. So, you know, just scratching posts, but 20% gratuity, actually, How Wicked beat Icarus to get his 10th win. And they are no strangers to each other. I mean, and Blind Rage and How Wicked have been teammates, yes, through the Night Shift and through the Challenge of the Immortals, but also, too, when Ultramantis Black was fighting with Delirious and Ophidian and the Patiri when they were part of Delirious's army. When Ultramantis made his army to take them on, he went and recruited. He was already part of the Spectral Envoy, so we already had Hell, Wicked, and Frightmare, but then he brought back Blind Rage to join them, and also, I'm going to hit myself later. Oh, and another member, and I can't remember who it was, and I'm going to hit myself later.
Crossbones?
Yes, Crossbones, and now I'm going to hate myself because I love Crossbones. And Crossbones, and together they were like the unified sort of army of the Spectral Envoy. So they've teamed together multiple times. So none of those guys are like strangers to each other. So the real wild card in that match is going to be Havoc, because he's a relative newcomer. He's a newcomer to Excellence. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see how he factors in, and he's already proven himself to be a huge, huge force. You know, definitely not someone you want to reckon with. So definitely, it's going to be a really great match.
Eddie?
I'm sorry. I had to take a quick phone call. That's why I was turning it the way I did.
Okay, I can keep talking. It's okay.
Nine things going Studio One. I apologize. But no.
That's okay. And there is another match that is actually not up yet on the events page, but that has been announced just recently. The team of Danger Jameson, okay, and his partner Rembrandt Lewis are going to be facing each other. And the two of them are really they're trying. Unfortunately, they just can't seem, even with Icarus, who's kind of been coaching them, can't seem to make a win. So hopefully if the two of them face each other in a singles match, someone will come out victorious. So somebody's going to get a win at the end of this.
Now, speaking of Danger Jameson, if I'm not mistaken, back at Scratching Post, he and Cobalt had a heck of a match.
They did. There were many stunts done, and some really fantastic things. Danger's really, really turned it up on those stunts. You know, so, and he came close to beating the Prince of Goblins, but Cobalt was able to get a win. And Cobalt's been really on fire since he's returned to Excellence. So,
do me a favor. Let me shift for one hot second. Tickets for the event are going to be how much?
Okay, they are, of course, $20 for the front row. General admission is $15, and then all children 12 and under are free with a paid general admission ticket. Okay, doors open at 6:30, and the show starts at 7.
And once again, folks, the address. Keep this one in mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to give you the address, but if you'd like to give me the address, I'm not going to stop you.
Either one. See, this is what happens when you get considerate people working together on a show. This is a scary thought, kids. No, but seriously. It's at the Forest Lodge VFW, 2118 Old Bethlehem Pike up in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. Now, real quick, before we go to the bottom of the hour break, how can everybody keep track of everything going on with Excellence Pro?
Oh, there's a lot of ways. Excellence is all over social media, as most wrestling companies are, and it makes sense. It's a good way to reach out and talk to us. So we have a website. It's excellenceprofessionalwrestling.com. You can check us out on Twitter, which is ExcellencePW. We are on, of course, Excellence is on Facebook. So is Edgar Excellence. He's Edgar Excel. He had a little issue with the name, and he was able to straighten that out, and he's still on Facebook, so you can check him out there. We're also on YouTube. So if you look up, if you go search Excellence Professional Wrestling, it will come up, and there's videos. And pretty much all the matches from our last 3 shows are available there for you to watch. There's promos, different kinds of videos. So there's a lot of content for you to watch. So definitely, if you're interested in excellence, kind of curious about what we're talking about, want to see what's going on, you can definitely check that all out on the YouTube page. All those matches and videos are there.
And not just check it out on YouTube, but subscribe so you don't miss anything that might show up. So you don't sit there and be like, what? I didn't know you guys put anything on there. Why didn't anybody say anything? Well, did you subscribe? No, I didn't. Well, there you go.
That's right. That's right. And we always have updates on, so Twitter's a really great place for updates. You can definitely interact with us. And definitely the boss is really up on social media. So, hey, if you tweet at us, we'll definitely say hi and see what's up. And we like when people share their photos and their opinions and their thoughts on excellence. So definitely share those.
Folks, hang tight. We're going to go to the bottom of the hour break. We'll continue with Babs right after this. This is Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans from around the world, I'm Lightning Mike Quackenbush, the master of 1,000 holds, and you're locked in for Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Motor, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
This is Merciless Ray Mercer, Olympic gold medalist and board member of Find the Dream, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Danny Cage from the world famous Monster Factory, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
This is the Cried Wrestler fan, the 30 Name Wills. It's sure to be there. And believe me, you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motormouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark MaBo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Hello, this is Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express, 8-time NWA World Tag Team Champions, and the true independent outlaw wrestler of the world. You're locked in Beyond Ringside.
This is Wicked Nemesis, and you're listening to Beyond Ringside.
This is Angel Orsini.
This is the Human Hand Grenade, Danny Only.
This is Dirty Dutch Mantel.
This is Liz Savage.
This is Vinny O'Brien, 2010 Golden Glove champion. This is Gabe Sapolsky from Dragon Gate USA and Evolve Pro Wrestling, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
You know, one of these years, I'm going to release the production talk. One of these years, somebody is going to stumble through the studio here, and they're going to go through and, ooh, what's this production file? Ooh, what's this? Oh, this is the stuff they talk about off air. Guess what? I keep that's a lie when I say I keep every one of them. I actually, depending on the show. Welcome back in Beyond Ringside Live Home Run Round. We are 23 minutes before the top of the hour on the live side on this Sunday, May 1st. Son of a... Hey, I got the first 2 letters of the month. Leave me alone, okay? Once again, an alleged live event taking place on the WWE Network, which, of course, is available for $10 minus a penny. But before we tackle those predictions, we'll take a quick look this coming Sunday night, 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 on the Pacific side. Ring of Honor and New Japan present Global Wars. Live on pay-per-view, yes, Ring of Honor returns to a Sunday night pay-per-view format. Thank you, creator. Greatly appreciated. World Championship on the line. Colt Cabana taking on Jay Lethal. Jay's going to have Taylor Hendricks in his corner, and that normally will get you no discount on the cup of coffee at Waffle House.
It doesn't do anything for Wawa either, just in case people are curious. Nothing for Wawa either.
MaBo, your thoughts on the match?
Oh, I mean, it's given Colt's past with Ring of Honor, it's definitely interesting. I am a fan of his Art of Wrestling, and he's explained everything and how he pretty much was just, felt that it was time to just the issues that he had, just to let them go. And, that was under, St. Clair and new management and all that. So, but I mean, it's definitely going to be awesome. I am a fan of Colt Cabana. So I would like, and he brought up a great point. He said he doesn't want to go out being known as someone's best friend, So, and that's a great point. So hopefully he will be able to blaze his own trail and capture. There's a lot of people who have gone after Jay Lethal and not been able to get the belt. AJ Styles, look at AJ Styles. AJ Styles was one, to mention, and hopefully Colt can do it.
Babs, your thoughts?
Yeah, Colt coming back to Ring of Honor, I was really surprised when I read the news and I saw this. I was like, whoa, wait, what? I was really surprised by that. And I'm even more surprised that he's got a championship match. But while they're in Chicago Ridge, and that's such a great place, it's a great venue, if they're in the same place, it's really amazing. And I know he'll have that hometown advantage. Jay Lethal is just so talented, so good, and such a dominant champion. I really think Jay Lethal is going to win this. He's going to stay champion and walk out in Chicago Ridge with his title.
When I look at the overall situation, Jay Lethal has had an incredible run with the ROH World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
He will never get his due.
This is true.
And a lot of that may be based on politics. A lot of that may be based on Ring of Honor and the fact that for as much visibility as they do have, there is still so much more that they don't. But considering the fact that Jay Lethal has worked against some of the premier athletes in the world of professional wrestling, I think that he should be able to get his due. Now, finally going one-on-one in this timeline with someone like Colt Cabana. Now, Cabana has been everything from high profile, high visibility to a recluse. And for Cabana to make the foray, the return to ROH, it makes me wonder because there's always alliances. And MaBo brought out the two words best friend a little while ago, and I know that person's having a great run down at NXT under the banner of the W. I was really trying to do the Scott Hall W, and it just didn't work. I don't see Colt Cabana getting the championship, but by the same token, going into last night at the promotion with which I work, I didn't see a person coming in for the first time winning the primary strap there either. But lo and behold, this is professional wrestling. Anything can happen. Do I look for a good match? Yes. Do I look for a great match? Maybe. I know Jay Lethal can carry the load. I'm not sure how strong Colt is going to be going into this one because I haven't seen him actually very active recently. If I have to pick right now, I'm going to say Lethal holds the title. I'm going to say he comes away with a win. Moving on. Tag team championships.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Just because you haven't seen him, man, he has been busting his ass.
Have you?
Since he got fired. Hush. He's been busting his ass week after week across the globe since he got let go from the WWE. Okay? So just because you haven't seen much of what he's doing doesn't mean anything. Okay? you of all people should know about being an MTFer.
Okay.
So,
and unfortunately, it's no longer MTFer due to the fact that SmackDown and Impact moved.
but you know what I'm talking about.
It's an MTTer.
But you know what I'm talking about. So don't sit there and talk about, just he's been a recluse. He has not been a recluse. Someone who's a recluse doesn't drop a podcast every week.
If they have no life, yes, they can.
No. Well, that's you leave.
Well, you know what though? It's true. Cabana, Cabana's been really wrestling a lot over, and I've seen him a lot mentioned over in the UK. And that's a lot of that. There's just great wrestling coming out of the UK.
Oh God, yes.
So many great promotions like This Is Progress. PCW, which is Preston City. Yeah, there's a lot. So I mean, yeah, we maybe haven't seen him over here. Because I was definitely shocked to see him show up at Ring of Honor. But he has been doing stuff in England, and maybe he'll be busting out some of that, sort of that English style. But I still think Jay Lethal has been, just consistently awesome. I think he's on top of his game. I just see him. He's been a very dominant champion. I just see him still being able to edge it out and being able to beat Colt.
And MaBo, if I'm being completely honest here, which I should have done with a somewhat UK accent, then she got the reference. Run. And everybody else did too. Holy crap. If I'm being completely honest with you, I can only form an opinion based on stuff that I have seen, not that I haven't seen. I'm sorry. I can't go on ghosts. I can't go on stuff I haven't read or heard or seen. I can only go off things that I've seen. And you forget, I have a calendar in front of me, and I check cards that are on that calendar in front of me. And if I don't see the name, then I automatically assume, well, they're not doing anything. And if I look at 60 different shows, 40 domestically, 20 internationally, and I don't see that person's name on a card, it's like, where are they working? And if they're not, then I can only assume they're recluse and ring rust. And when I made the comment about dropping a podcast if you have no life, guess what? I run a station and I have no life. Ha! Actually, I run two.
I figure someone with your journalistic integrity would do a little bit of homework every once in a while.
That's why I repeated kindergarten. I didn't do homework. It was the best 6 years of my life. The other 12 years of school I passed in 2 weeks because I didn't have to do homework. I did it while I was in school. This is kind of like going to, I always flash back to the Undertaker in Pensacola, Florida. Pensacola is a wonderful town. I spent 2 weeks there one day. ROH World Tag Team Championships on the line. Mark and Jay Briscoe defend against War Machine, Hanson and Rowe. This is going to be fun. But by the same time, now I stand corrected on something because they have Hanson and Rowe listed as the champions, but the video that I was watching from Ring of Honor had the Briscoe brothers with tag team championship gold. But for some reason, I superimposed the fact that it was the ROH tag championships, and I apologize that was wrong on my part. So see, I do admit when I make a mistake every 5 years. But by the same token, will this be the day that they get the tag titles back? Or will War Machine prove their dominance and hold on and turn back to challenge the Briscoes, MaBo?
Well, we've already, we discussed that earlier. I think, it could go either way. This is one of those that can go either way. It's definitely going to be hard to call. So, War Machine coming in, they've got a lot going for them. But it's the Briscoes. It's, pretty much the team that's almost been there since the beginning. So, it's going to be interesting.
Babs, your thoughts?
I don't know. I think War Machine is going to retain. Briscoes are good. I just don't know, fresh young guys, are so dominant. It's going to be, I hate to use the pun, it's going to be a war, but it really will be. And as corny as that kind of sounds, it really will be. I don't think it's going to be an easy title defense by any means, because it is the Briscoes, but I just don't see them getting those titles back.
I'm sitting back here wishing I could be in the first 3 rows because you know that they're going to be throwing bombs in that match to the point where you're going to feel the concussion 3 rows back.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a heavy-hitting slugfest, plain and simple. But think about it, is all 4 men are great wrestlers as well as great fighters. So the ultimate winner in the circumstance, regardless of who gets the belt, this is one match where I'm going to sit back and say this one by itself is going to be worth the price of admission. If everything goes right. If everybody's healthy and they have time to work and do what they do best, it's going to be worth the price of admission and worth the cost of the pay-per-view. Television title on the line. Bobby Fish challenging Tomohiro Ishii. MaBo.
I'm going to give it to Bobby Fish. I think this is going to be Bobby Fish's little breakout year.
Babs?
You know what? I can't disagree. I think Bobby Fish is really an underrated kind of guy. I think he's an underrated talent. And I think he's gonna, he's been undefeated. He's had really impressive wins, against Daniels and Roderick Strong. So I gotta agree with MaBo. I'm gonna say Bobby Fish is gonna take it.
I will go and make it a trifecta on that one, but the thing about it is the only thing that holds me back, don't laugh when I say this is the title of the pay-per-view. When you make an emphasis on the fact that this is a global war, so to speak, and you've got a lot of stars from New Japan coming in on this one, I almost have to sit back and say, yeah, they're considering where the world title is and the tag titles are, I would be almost willing to bet the farm that Ishii retains. But by the same token, I think Fish would make a great representative for the company as the television champion, and I think he's worked long and hard to get back. I mean, he's done everything that's been asked of him, and I think that this would be a great payoff for him, especially since the tag team title situation is pretty much locked up. This is one that I'm really kind of curious about. Michael Elgin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, taking on Okada and Moose. Damn. That's the only thing I could say about that one right off the top of my head, other than MaBo.
I'm going to say Tanahashi and Elgin for the simple fact that, yes, Moose had a tremendous outing. His first time in Japan, just with Ring of Honor and everything. First of the year, was it February, maybe? Actually, I got to speak to Moose when he and I worked a show for Twin States Wrestling here in Alabama. Yep, drop that name, pick it up. And he, I did ask him how he enjoyed it because he had just gotten back, and he said he had a great time. But I still think the inexperience. Yes, he's got the Rainmaker with him. Yes, he has Okada with him, and more than likely, Gato will be with Okada if history, serves me.
Yes, Gato is coming over.
When you got a devious mind like Gato, in your corner. But I just think that Tanahashi and Elgin, I just think they're gonna have a little bit more of the experience and the veteran edge. So.
Yeah, they just recently showed on New Japan Domestic on Access the match where Rainmaker won the heavyweight championship, and that match just start to finish was a thing of beauty. I really enjoyed it. That's one reason why I went ahead and moved it over to DVD, and I'm going to put it on the hard drive because I never know when anything's going to show up on the internet. Babs, your thoughts on the match?
Well, I was thinking Tanahashi and Elgin because they've been a team for a little bit longer. I mean, they're 2/3 of the, never open weight 6-man tag team championship, along with Yoshitatsu or whatever. So they're champions. They are a team. But when you have Gato and you have Stokely Hathaway on the outside, that is a huge, huge, huge benefit because they will not resist getting involved and whatnot. So as much as I was leaning toward Tanahashi and Elgin, I think I'm going to say Okada and Moose. I'm leaning toward them just because of the 2 men outside. That's going to be a tremendous boon for them and an advantage.
I agree to a great degree on that one, and the one thing that takes it one step further for me is the fact that I never really can tell what the hell they're doing with Michael Elgin as far as storylines go, whether or not he's getting the championship push, not getting the championship push. Is he in a single? Is he in a tag team? I'm just ultimately confused. And whereas with Okada, and with Moose, I cannot speak for Tanahashi in that particular regard because I don't follow enough of what happens current day in JPW. But I will sit back and say, based on what I've seen, especially through Okada and all the appearances he's been making domestically, as well as Moose, I really have to sit back and say they are on much more of a roll together and separately. So I'm in this particular regard, I have to see them going over. I've got to see them getting the victory at Global Wars from Ring of Honor. Non-title matchup, Kyle O'Reilly versus the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Tetsuya Naito. MaBo.
I'm going to say Naito.
Babs?
The title's not on the line, but when they wrestled previously at War of the Worlds, Naito beat O'Reilly. I don't know. I think that's going to give O'Reilly a little bit of that fire that he needs, I think, to really, hit that. When O'Reilly's fired up, he's just an amazing wrestler. And I think that remembering that defeat and wanting to prove something, and maybe, hey, earn himself, a championship shot, I think he's really going to bring the intensity. I think he's going to take it.
That is going to be one. I really think that they'll go ahead and keep Kyle O'Reilly in a certain positioning. So that's where I'm going to sit back and say, yeah, I actually see him going over in this one, which I think will make, regardless of whether or not they do the championship match here domestically or back in Japan, I think that is going to be one where the fans in attendance especially are going to be able to enjoy. This is one where I'm going to sit back and say, for everybody who is within 3 hours of Chicago Ridge, the show is going to be worth a drive easily. I'm taking out of consideration the factor of the pay-per-view. Because I say this, whether you live in Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, whether you live in Philly, Charlotte, doesn't matter. It can be any major city, any minor city, any small town. If you have a live event taking place within a reasonable distance of where you live, make the damn drive. Watching things on television is great, wonderful, love it. That's how a lot of us see what's going on. Watching it on the internet is great, wonderful, love it. That's how a lot of us find out what's going on and see what's going on. But I'll tell you the truth, and you've heard me preach this for years. There's nothing like being there in person to experience it. Let's shoot over. There's some more matches on it, but we're going to cover those probably next week when we get ready for that particular. We're going to go a little bit more in depth on that show as the week progresses, to which I will sit back and say the live event has already. MaBo, have you been watching the pre-show?
Yeah, actually, apparently they've got their act together, so my stuff has stopped kicking in and out. I'm going to go with the assumption that Ziggler beat Baron Corbin. I don't know because it decided to cut off at that moment. But right now, Ryback and Kalisto are doing battle, and Ryback looking very ridiculous in trunks and a weight belt. So, but you know what they don't have on this pre-show that they should, Eddie?
What's that?
The hottest new tag team in NXT, the Jamokes.
Oh, that just hurts, Pablo. That just hurts.
Oh, I say that in legit. They need to be. Well, they didn't really give.
We know that's not their name.
I know it's 3.0, and I'm so glad. Okay, first of all, Big Magic looking in tremendous shape. We'll get to the predictions.
Oh God.
Big Magic looking. I have never seen him in better shape in my life. Dude,
no, I don't think he has been.
Oh, my gosh. Eddie, if you haven't watched NXT this week, the Revival took on, what were they, Jeff Parker and...
Matt Lee and Jeff Parker.
Matt Lee, yeah. Which are Scott Jagged Parker and Big Magic Shane Matthews 3.0. They were, quote-unquote, enhancement talent. But you know what? I will say this. They did enhance. Not to make the Revival look good, but they enhanced that show. When have we seen on NXT, enhancement talent that, one, had the crowd solidly behind them? Had them chanting defense after, Big Magic had started chanting defense. Made him laugh when he was, what did he say? I'm trying to obey the rules. When he, just doing what 3.0 does best, and that is not only put on a good match, not only wrestle like they love it because they do, but getting the crowd involved, making the crowd and have a good time and enjoying themselves. That's what they did, and I honestly think that WWE needs to go ahead, pull the trigger, and officially sign these guys. As much as I love seeing the bruiserweights, Corey Hollis and John Schuyler, much as I did love seeing those two guys on there, 3.0 needs to be officially on the show, on NXT.
I would like to see Hollis and Schuyler on there full time.
Well, I mean, like I said, I know we've got close ties to Corey Hollis, but 3.0 deserves that spot. And Babs is much closer to the situation than I, because she's had much more interaction with 3.0 than I. And I want to get your opinions real quick, Babs, before we move on to the predictions there.
I admit I was a little bit conflicted. Because yes, I 3.0 is my favorite tag team in all of wrestling right now. They absolutely are, and I have been around them in my exploits in Chikara, so I do know them a little bit, and I'm great fans of those guys. So I was completely thrilled to see them there on TV as part of NXT, to get like that sort of, hey, even as an enhancement talent, to get to be on and show a little bit of what they can do. If that was not a lot. But I do agree, I think they would be a great addition. Because you're right, they can really get a crowd behind them. Shane Matthews, as you said, looks fantastic. I've never seen him look that good. And it was interesting because when they were announced, people at first, didn't recognize who they were, and then I think when it clicked in and they looked at the tights and they realized who they were watching, you could hear a small, section of the people, starting to cheer because they recognized that it was 3.0. Because at first, when they first heard the names, I don't think it quite clicked. But then when they realized, you could hear them start to cheer. And you're right, and they were definitely into what they were doing. Nobody ever wants to see their favorite tag team used as an enhancement talent anyway. So I have to admit I was a little bit biased. It did also hurt that basically they were beat by a version of their own finisher.
Yes. That
kind of hurt a little bit because their finisher, Sweet Taste Professionalism, is an assisted lung blower, and that's basically what they were beat with. So that kind of hurt a little bit. But they were great. I did not like the commentary. I was very unhappy with the commentary. I think over the last few weeks, I actually haven't minded Tom Phillips and Corey Graves' commentary, but I thought it was astoundingly bad in that match. It just was like, I want to mute this because this is awful. I think that there are ways that they didn't have to put over 3.0 in their commentary, but there are ways to make it where they could have, Phillips could have mentioned that they've been a long-time tag team, that they've won championships. Let's make what Dash and Wilder are doing in really just soundly beating them a little more impressive.
Yeah,
I feel like it was one of those situations where Michael Cole or even JBL will start on a rant and they just let go. Yeah. Where the face announcer doesn't take control. And I think what they're trying to do with Phillips and Graves is kind of have a Bobby Gorilla type of thing.
Yeah.
You can't force that though.
You can't. It takes a lot of work. I mean, Bobby and Gorilla were together for years, doing all kinds of things together. But also, too, Gorilla basically could get control over Bobby. He never got to ramble too far, where Gorilla would rein him in. And then also, too, Bobby was willing to be the butt of a joke. And so, and Gorilla could play the straight man. And I feel like it was just I think Corey Graves was trying to be funny. It just didn't work. And I think Tom Phillips kind of let him go, and I think Corey Graves talked over him a lot, and I was like, okay, let me just hit mute or something, because, it just was really bad. It's hard. Commentary is hard. It's a hard balance to get, But like I said, I was mixed, but I am happy to see them get that opportunity. I'm hoping that means more opportunities for them on NXT. So that's the end of my rant about 3.0 on NXT.
No, actually, you're fine. That's perfectly said.
And it was great to see them in the background. Was it about a month or so ago? They were in the background drinking coffee.
Yes, it was during Raw when it was in Philadelphia, as a matter of fact. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know they were in town. I was like, oh man, I might have actually gone to Raw to see that. Then, 30 seconds,
Yeah, and then now look at them. So hopefully they will get they will get back. Now, if for those who haven't tuned in yet or listening and you haven't flipped over, Kalisto once again beat Ryback, retains the U.S. title. How many more times do we have to see that? Who knows? But I know Eddie's ready to fire this off in the predictions, so
yeah.
Senor Eduardo Lanier.
Actually, I tell you what, I'm not. If you want to, we can take a quick top of the hour break, and we can come back in 4 and go ahead and take us to fruition to the regular time.
Or we could just keep going.
I can do either.
Let's go. Let's have fun. Multiple O's on the word go.
Mainly because I've got my ribs are almost done, so I want to wrap this up.
Oh, well, now.
Oh, you're hungry. Okay.
Yeah, remember that next time I say dinner's ready, I'm leaving.
Oh, whatever. You've got roommates that will bring you food while you're broadcasting so high. By the way, that makes a lot of sense. They're in Chicago for Payback, and when Ryback came out, he tapped his wrist like he was CM Punk. Oh, what a douche.
You expect any less from him?
And speaking of things that are not douchey, the New Day. So go ahead and hit it, Eddie.
Yes, but the New Day is booty. I don't care what they say.
That's horrible. New Day's awesome.
Y'all can keep talking, but I'm going to hear this New Day promo.
Then mute your phone. Let's take a look at it real quick. Okay, since the New Day has I will assume the New Day has come out and they're getting ready to talk about the tag title #1 contenders final match. So let's go and lay it out there. Amore and Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains. MaBo?
I'm going to say Vaudevillains because I think that they don't want to have their top face tag team taking on their top incoming new face tag team. So I think the Vaudevillains are going to win, and they're going to win because of interference from the Dudleys. So we can continue the Enzo and Big Cass, don't call him Colin Cassidy because Lillian Garcia will get mad, tag team. So you'll see them and the Dudleys break off and have their own little feud. But I also think that the New Day could do a lot. Sorry, Big E's swiveling his hips, so I'm getting a little mesmerized. For a big man, he can.
Your ribs are ready.
Sorry, ribs ready. So, but I think Vaudevillains are going to win, and I think we're going to see a rather interesting program develop between Vaudevillains and the New Day, because I don't think that the main WWE fan base is yet to be able to experience what the Vaudevillains can bring to the mic. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see that happen. So I'm going to say Vaudevillains, as much as it hurts me. Thanks for the Dudleys.
I was waiting just to be on the safe side. Babs, come on in.
It's really hard. This match is really hard because I like both of these teams so much. Enzo and Big Cass. And Big Cass is really strange to me because he doesn't look like he should have any, charisma. He seems like he's not, but he's really charismatic, and he works really well with Enzo, who's over the top. It just works so well. And the Vaudevillains, what can I say about the Vaudevillains? They're awesome. I love it. I love the whole game. I love their entrance. I love how that's done. I love it all. And based on, though, like you said, the Dudley, like MaBo was saying with the Dudleys, it seems really obvious that Enzo and Big Cass are going to go have their program, have their feud with the Dudleys. I could see that happening. And so I'm gonna lead from the Vaudevillains. And I think that the Vaudevillains and New Day are just going to play off the best parts of each other. And I think they're going to have amazing matches, and I think it's going to be just awesome.
I'm also going to go ahead and go hat trick on this one and take the Vaudevillains as well, but I agree with all the logic that's been laid out there, and I think that we're going to continue to ride. Dean Ambrose, Chris Jericho, possible match of the night candidate. MaBo?
I think Dean. I think Dean Ambrose.
Babs?
I don't know. I just haven't been a fan of. I'm just not getting into Chris Jericho in the last few years. Despite good matches, he had some, good matches with AJ Styles. It was a good way to bring AJ in, and they had great matches. And I think Chris Jericho has good matches. I just haven't been into him. But I also haven't been into Dean Ambrose lately. I thought the match at WrestleMania was just completely sort of disappointing. So I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up, I think. I guess if I have to lean to anyone, I'm going to say Chris Jericho, just because he's a veteran and with the experience. But I really do think it could be possibly a toss-up.
This is one of two matches that I genuinely see going to a no finish. Whether it be a double DQ, whether it's a double count out, does not matter. This is one of two matches that I see not reaching a conclusion in order to continue the storyline. I have to disagree. In my personal world, I've actually been getting into Chris Jericho. I appreciate the concept of the way that he's been carrying himself. He's been having some stellar matches. The only thing that really hurts me with Jericho, as far as my overall opinion of the way he's been doing it, has been the fact that you just wait. You're waiting to see exactly when he was going to drop the heel bomb. And lo and behold, and when he finally did against AJ, it's like, yep, there he goes. Okay. Because Jericho has reached that rarefied air, in my opinion, where you can boo him out of habit, but you're not going to boo him because you dislike him. It comes down to the fact that Jericho makes a great heel. But Jericho's version of a heel is better when he was originally the Y2J, smartass, borderline condescending, wisecracking heel. When Jericho tries to get too serious, you will pay attention to what I am saying. It starts to get a little bit out there, because whereas I think Jericho should leave the Liam Neeson commentary style to Liam Neeson, and probably I'm not saying go back to Dumb and Dumber, because that's the last thing he was, but I think he should embrace his inner insanity and run back in that direction. But that's just me. Intercontinental Championship, Miz, Cesaro, Babs.
Oh, this is another one. I like both of these guys so much. I am one of the few people, not a lot of people I know, it's very fashionable to hate on The Miz. He's a great heel. And I think with Maurice and that whole power couple thing, I really love that. Miz he knows he's not the best technical wrestler, but he knows he's really good at leveraging the media. He knows he's good at being a loud, cocky, obnoxious heel that people just generally hate. He's so good at it. And I'm sorry, Antonio Cesaro, Claudio, he's amazing. Just so charismatic, such a great wrestler. There's so many great things about Cesaro. I adore him. I think he's wonderful. And honestly, I think Miz is going to retain. I imagine Maurice will get involved. But I really, really kind of, in my heart, want Claudio to win this one. But I do see Miz keeping it, and I think Maurice is going to be a definite part of that.
MaBo.
Cesaro.
Yeah, I'm really 50-50 on this one, and I blame Vince McMahon for that, due to the fact that he's the one who just can't seem to totally get into Cesaro and believe that he's getting over with the fans, even though the fans are going bat fecal matter crazy anytime Cesaro hits the ramp and breaks through the arc. And lo and behold, they keep, this is where I go back to my favorite high horse. It's not that I don't like Miz in ring. I find him to be bland, less than vanilla, and on the microphone, boring. Not annoying, boring. And they continue to, and look, I don't care if he gets sent to NXT. I don't care if he goes into production. I just don't give him a mic. I find Miz TV to be one of the most useless interview shows, because he is just, what's the word I'm looking for? He just doesn't do it. I'm sorry. Never has, never will. My other candidate for match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. MaBo.
Oh, God, I don't care who wins. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care who wins, because it's the fact that these guys are finally getting a one-on-one match. I mean, is it a Mania? No, that would have been amazing. And yes, they've, ladder wars. They headlined, like Ring of Honor, pay-per-views and stuff before. But, I mean, it's the fact that, they're not even really headlining, but they're on, this feud has finally made its way to the big leagues. They've had their comebacks before, and then, Sami Zayn, resurfaces in NXT, and, because, everybody knows they trained together, and then Sami Zayn disappeared, okay? But then he came back in NXT, and then Kevin Owens shows up. And I know that Sami Zayn's good friend El Generico, has had many bouts.
Hold it, Bowman. What? Hold up. See, Babs, MaBo actually comes forth with the information that Sami Zayn and El Generico are best friends. Almost to the point of being Corsican twins.
Well, I wouldn't say they're best friends. I wouldn't say they're best friends, but they do know each other.
That's I've never heard that. The last I heard about Generico is that he was he went back home, to take care of the orphans, and then Scott Parker told me that apparently he's got like 7 kids in addition to that. So, I was really shocked to hear that. I was told this, and so, I didn't know that they had met. Like, I guess it makes sense through like different wrestling things. I'm sure they've kind of crossed paths. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, of course, everybody knows El Generico retired down to, if I'm not mistaken, I heard it was South America, and he's running an orphanage.
No, Tijuana.
See, I'd heard South America. Some people. He definitely moved to one of the Latin countries, and but yeah, I mean, so I'm sure that Sami Zayn has gotten with El Generico on the best way, because let's face it, you've got to have all the information you can to take on a man like Kevin Owens.
Hold on. We may have a problem on the pay-per-view. Seriously.
Yeah, he did not. I was just watching that, and he did not hit that well. He hit that bottom rope just wrong.
Under his jaw.
Yeah, that's bad. And those things, man, they're so tight. And it's no joke. They are not okay. He's not moving his hands. That's a little scary.
Big X Throne. Rudy Charles has called the match.
Yeah, he's hurt. He's not moving. He might have a stinger. He's not moving his hands.
Okay, you guys are apparently ahead of me because I keep getting...
Sorry.
Yeah, because right now they're showing the instant replay, the second replay of Enzo going and he hit. Okay, wait. I saw then on this angle you see his head hit the center rope.
And right, that bounces off the apron there.
Yeah,
almost on the apron, almost near the metal at the end, and that's not good. And like I said, he's not moving his arm or his hand.
Well, he hit his. It looked like he hit his head right about the temple. He may be out cold.
How far am I behind you guys? Because I've got Big Cass and Aiden English.
Wow.
You're behind. Refresh.
No. Yeah, you're behind. That's good. Wow. Yeah, that wasn't good at all. Yeah, he hit really hard too. Those ropes, they are so tight, and and hitting those, it's serious force, and they hurt. Even when you're running them, they do. There are cables inside that. There's still cables inside that. And let me see, WWE's, I don't know how theirs are, but, even underneath that little bit of plastic, so they're definitely hurt. And then hitting your head on canvas that hard with that kind of force. The only thing
I'm cutting in for a second. The only thing that I can actually sit back and say on this one that would actually be considered a light blessing in this regard, a lot of companies do run 16-foot rings and 18-foot rings. I believe WWE still runs a 20-foot ring. And from that vantage point, you stretch that cable over the course. Oh, damn! Now, on that vantage point, it looked like he caught his jaw under the bottom rope again, but it may just be the angle that I'm looking at. But the fact that you've got a 20-foot ring in WWE, that cable has a different density and a different, not density, but a different texture to it due to the fact that it's a longer piece of cable. Now, I don't know how far ahead or behind, but
Jesus.
He just must have now just saw it.
That snap. His neck snap's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
He hits that. I mean, hitting his head, snapping his neck.
Well, so he was already kind of halfway out of it when he, right before when he. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and lead off by saying, folks, first off, I'm going to go ahead and send them up prayers and thoughts, and I hope that this is not a serious injury. I hope that it's just a stinger or a migraine or a headache. So definitely for those who choose to, definitely send up prayers and definitely keep him in your best thoughts and hope that this is not. They just stole the Avengers sculpture. Did you not see that?
Wow. Yeah, I did see the bit of the thing. I was still worried about Enzo, but
yeah. Okay.
I was still kind of in that promo. but
the match has been thrown out.
Yeah, they can't,
Yeah.
That's a shame. Hopefully it's nothing serious, because he's just such a great performer. He's just so much fun to watch, and he's so charismatic, and So hopefully something serious.
And I'm very happy to be able to say women's championship, not that Divas fecal matter, that it doesn't even qualify for fecal matter. Charlotte versus Natalya. Babs?
Mm-hmm. Oh, what I like about this match is the two cornermen. You're going to have Ric Flair and Bret Hart. And it's such an interesting, oh, God, those two. You can't forget that actually, Bret Hart won his first WWF championship by beating Ric Flair.
Right.
Back in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, back in November of 1992. So they have a little bit of history. I like the two cornermen there. I think with the two cornermen, I want to say Natalya. I do, because I really like her, and I think she's very talented. But I'm going to say Charlotte is really good. And I just see Charlotte just having that Flair championship sort of tenacity. I think she's going to hold on to it and do anything she has to. Not even, counting what her father might do, but anything she has to do to keep that title.
And with the situation that occurred live on the network, I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't get your input on the Owens-Zayn match.
Oh, no, and they're showing the video for it now. You know what? It's going to be the match of the night. I don't expect anything less it to be the match of the night. They've had so many good matches, and they've just kept that up. And, oh, my God, to pick a winner, so hard. Kevin Owens has been such great. He was such a great Intercontinental champion. He's such a great, powerful guy who can move. Sami Zayn is just all over talented. It's so hard to pick a winner. You know what? I think Sami Zayn has something to improve. I do. So I'm going to go with Sami Zayn.
I wish a championship were on the line in this match because it would make that match that much more important than it already is. I think that this is going to be a dream match for a lot of people, myself included. So from that vantage point, Owens doesn't need a win at this point. It would not hurt him to go under to Zayn. I believe Zayn needs the win, statistically speaking, more than Owens does. And based on that linear logic, because remember, Zayn really just now coming off the injury, getting back into a full-time schedule, he needs that visible push in that regard to re-solidify a connection with the fans who had suspended interest while he was out hurt. Whereas Owens continues to dazzle and impress. A loss, he's at that one point where I don't think a loss would hurt him.
I can't disagree with that. I think that makes total sense. I think, Kevin Owens, you're right. It's not going to hurt him, but it's not going to help him necessarily, I think, even more. We already know what kind of talent he is, what kind of talented guy he is. But Sami Zayn, this match could take both these guys, to get to show this off to the next level, I think, for WWE fans. Like, we already know, if you're familiar with the independents, we know what these guys can do. We've seen them, take each other on. We've seen them tag up. But I think for WWE fans who aren't as familiar, I think this is really going to elevate them and really just shoot them to another level.
This is also, and I made a reference to this is the other match that I can also see going Broadway with no problem whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't see it being a double disqualification. I just see it being or possibly a double. It could be either a double DQ or a double count. It doesn't matter. This match could easily go that way and not hurt either one of them. MaBo, your thoughts? Women's title match.
I don't think they're going to take it off Charlotte just yet. I mean, I think they're really holding out, unless they're wanting to try to make her a 2-time and a 3-time and a 4-time before she finally drops it to Sasha. Probably say around SummerSlam. But I just don't think they're ready to take it off of Charlotte yet, which sucks because I would love to see Natty get the belt. But I don't know. I still say Charlotte.
Natalya Neidhart, in my opinion, deserves that title. For all of the horse crap that she had to suffer through with the Total Divas project and the interaction and the crossover with the main roster product, I believe Natalya has earned the right to be. I wish she could have been the first women's champion, but I do believe she deserves to be a women's champion in WWE. Plain and simple. I like Charlotte. I think that this is the only time where I'm not going to genuinely say Rick being at ringside hurts Charlotte. and takes away from her shine and or heat during a match. I know baby faces get shine, heels get heat. Thanks for playing. I know I'm going to pull back the curtain. Don't give a flying rat's ass. But but by the same token, in the women's division right now, you actually have personalities, with the exception of the Bella Twins, that can actually, as a heel, get a shine situation in play as well as heat back to back. So, and with the Bellas, it's complete and total apathy. Go away, done, bye, see ya, leave. That's just me. Not a Bella fan. Never have been. Remember, Paige said it perfectly. Talent is not sexually transmitted. And I will love that phrase for the rest of my natural life. AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, championship on the line. Mark, MaBo, Bowman.
Roman's going to keep it. Of course, there's going to be the big swerve. There's that word, kids, swerve. And everybody's going to think that it's, everybody thinks it's going to, Gallows and Anderson are going to be there to help AJ. And I'll tell you right now, you want to kill somebody's momentum, let him actually be there with Roman Reigns. That will kill any cool factor or whatever that Gallows and Anderson have if you stick them with Reigns. And what was Sami Zayn thinking with that haircut? So
Joey Fatone?
I think Reigns is going to retain, and maybe we find out that Finn Balor's behind it. Maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. But overall, Reigns is gonna keep it. I don't think they'll put it on AJ. Not But who knows? Maybe we find out that Guns and Gallows is working for the Authority, and the Authority is now backing Reigns. Maybe we'll get heel Reigns, because Lord knows they're booing the crap out of him as it is, booing the crap out of him as it is. Plus his whole, I'm not a bad guy, I'm not a good guy, I understand that. No.
That was actually not a bad Bush 41 impression. Nicely played, MaBo. Babs, your thoughts?
Yeah, they're not going to take off for Roman yet. They've invested way too much, and it's just, I don't see that happening. I like AJ. I think they're going to have a really great match. I do. I think they'll have some. I think people will be surprised on how good it's going to be. But yeah, I don't see it, and I don't know with Anderson and Gallows and that whole thing. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm hoping they don't get involved. I'm hoping maybe they show up and maybe watch, but maybe don't do anything. I think I'd like to have the ambiguity of this whole thing kind of like hanging out there. I think. I hope they don't get involved. I really don't. I wouldn't mind if they came out and watched and maybe made it ambiguous and based on who they're supporting. I would like that, a little bit of tension. But like I said, I'm hoping they don't get involved. I think they're gonna have a good match though. And I discovered something really interesting. It was funny. I kind of was talking about 1994. Watching the network and going through 94. And watching that in order with the Raws and the pay-per-views and whatever. And I was talking about Diesel. And how kind of very stiff his promos were when he was the Intercontinental Champion, before he became Big Daddy Cool, he was WWF Champion, where he was very charismatic and very relaxed. His promos were really great. And someone had compared him to Roman Reigns, and noting that was kind of similar. But, it was a very good point. That was me, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can totally see that. Well, I was looking. Someone had a picture of Roman Reigns' pop figure. I don't know if you collect them. They're little figures you can get, and they're almost like Precious Moments, but like plastic, and they're like
the Funko,
pop, culture centered. And I looked at it and I said, oh my God, if you take off the tattoos, right, and you change the thing on his shirt, you basically have Big Daddy Cool Diesel. You look exactly the same. But the longer hair and the goatee, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was laughing as I'm looking at this thing, thinking, oh my gosh, how similar. And it was really funny that they were talking about that. But I do think Roman Reigns is going to take it. But I think it's going to be a surprising match. I think they're going to have a really great amount of chemistry. So it'll be good.
I ask because I don't know. I know the company is Funko that makes them, that is also the same company that has made bobbleheads for years. I'm almost curious how they would handle a Roman Reigns bobblehead.
Roman Reigns is a bobblehead. He's a human bobblehead.
Well, see, I normally refer to Miz as a walking, talking bobblehead.
No, the Miz is several phrases that I can't say on here without offending people.
Yeah, I know. By the way,
I like the Miz. I know I'm alone on that, but I really do like it.
you're in the
I know
minority.
I'm very much alone, but
and the return of Maurice, in my humble opinion, didn't help him.
Yeah, apparently her tenure at the Mustang Ranch is over with. She's got to go back home with her horse tooth husband.
Personal foul. That's a 15-yarder.
I'm really surprised. I really am surprised. I would like to see, and I think they have really great potential to be like a new power couple. You know what I mean? I could see them both getting inflated heads and sort of maybe challenging Triple H and Stephanie in that way. I can totally see that happening.
So in other words, you think they would make great bobbleheads. Meanwhile, back in the ranch.
They might make good bobbleheads. I don't know. I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Miz bobblehead somewhere out there, actually.
Would they risk the bad timing with doing a reveal tonight? Here's a hypothetical for everybody, and I know we're running way over, and I apologize for that because MaBo's dinner's getting cold. Unless he's hitting the mute button and eating while we're actually talking.
I might be, but I'm just saying we need to wrap it up.
However, short ending to the story on this one. I'll make it real quick, 1 minute or less. What if Styles went over and then Gallows and Anderson attacked Reigns after the match, to which Styles retorts and says, "I told you I didn't need your help," to which Gallows and Anderson said, "Who said we were helping you? We're helping him." Enter the Demon. And Balor comes out. Automatic heel flush for the Balor Club. AJ stands alone as the phenomenal one. Reigns is out of the title for a couple of months. And you have 5-star matches between AJ Styles and Finn Balor for the WWE Heavyweight Championship for the next couple of months.
Yep. That'll never happen because, one,
it makes sense.
Reigns doesn't have enough range enough to maybe go film a movie to be gone that long. And two, WWE will never, ever, ever give us that.
Yeah, it just makes too much sense. By the way, for the record, you made a reference to the women's title going to Sasha Banks eventually. I'll throw this one out there real quick. I think the perfect concept would be for Natalya to beat Charlotte. Natalya maintains a certain babyface heir to her. Then, lo and behold, enter Sasha Banks, flip her full-scale heel, because in my book, she's better as a full heel than she is any kind of babyface. Mania's over. Let the characters go back to being the characters they are meant to be and supposed to be, and then we can actually work things out to where we capture the fan interest and take that back to the level that it genuinely needs to be. Overall, for this pay-per-view, so-called pay-per-view, I see it probably being C+, maybe a B- if I smoke enough weed. Let's go.
Yeah. Really? You really would give it that low of a rating for Payback?
Oh, by the way, Mr. McMahon is supposed to announce who controls Raw at tonight's show. Who do you think gets it? Babs?
Oh, geez. Oh, it's hard. Wow. There's a lot of ways I can go. And whenever I think about this sort of thing, I think back to, like, the corporate ministry and all that stuff. And, I really think he's going to give it to Stephanie. I really do. As much as I like Shane O'Mac and all, and I think that's cool. I think he's going to give it to Stephanie. But Shane O'Mac's not gonna back down. I think he's still going to try to fight for it. But I think he's going to give it to Stephanie.
MaBo.
I think Vince is going to steal yet another amazing idea from the independent wrestling scene, and he is going to name the new person in control of Raw is going to be Gary Greatness, the Cat.
Yeah. As long as it's not that damn computer again, I'm okay.
Oh, dear, that was terrible. How awful was that?
The payoff would have been better had it been me.
I've got a feeling that's what they're going to do. They're going to steal it, and they're going to have no in WWE that would be like Gary Greatness the dog or Hedgehog or something.
No, I think they're going to.
I'd rather be a cat or dog than that computer. Yeah,
well, they could. Hey, look, they could bring back Mike Adamle.
Or not.
That's terrible. He had problems, like an actual illness thing. So that's kind of harsh.
Well, no,
yeah,
I actually, to me, that wasn't a bad
but...
idea. I wasn't being sarcastic when I said that. I was actually being real because
most people are.
No,
I'm sorry. I automatically read the sarcasm because usually most people are.
No, there was no sarcasm there, believe it or not. I didn't mind Adam Lee. Now, if they brought in somebody like Ryan Seacrest, then I'd be offended.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would.
And it's time for me to say, Beyond Ringside, out. Babs, do me a favor. How can everybody track you down? Shameless plugs.
I am on Facebook and Twitter at Babs Indie, and that's INDIE. So don't forget Excellence. Coming up I have Funkified Wrestling Roundup on May 10th, but on May 14th, Excellence has their next show, so I will be there behind the merch table. But I'll have information and updates and retweets and stuff on Facebook and Twitter, and I'm also on Instagram as PS Pretty. So you can find me. That's kind of where you can find me. Oh, and I have a website, too, which is www.writingfemme.com.
MaBo, shameless plugs.
I want to defer to Babs. Babs, hit him with everything from Twitter to Instagram to Facebook on Excellence Pro. And, of course, hit him once again with the full card detail, the full show details as far as where and who has it and who it is for the Excellence Pro.
Yeah, definitely. And excellenceprofessionalwrestling.com. That was the other plug I forgot. There's the website as well. So and YouTube, can't forget that. So definitely check all of those things out. And Twitter, and the Excellence Twitter, which is Excellent PW. And then, of course, on Facebook, as well as my boss, Edgar Excellence. He's Edgar Excel. So check him out. So that's all the plugs for Excellence. Definitely check out the YouTube page. Check out the action that we have. There's amazing matches.
The show's going to be May 14th.
I got this part, MaBo, real quick. Saturday, May 14th at the Forest Lodge VFW 2118 Old Bethlehem Pike in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. Front row seats, if available, $20 each. General admission, $15. And, of course, all children 12 and under are freed with a paid general admission ticket. Havoc, Icarus, Hallowicked, Blind Rage, One Night Only, Unspeakable, Diana Perrazzo, Too Many Cooks, The Proletariat, Bora Moldova, Danger Jameson, Rembrandt Lewis, and a whole host of stars. Saturday, May 14th in Sellersville with Excellence Professional Wrestling as Excellence Pro presents Smelly Cat. Live professional wrestling action in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. Real quick, here's the rundown. Things are in stasis because of the so-called wannabe could possibly be identified and miscommunicated as a pay-per-view tonight on the WWE Network. So things for Corner to Corner and the Midnight Black Mass are on hold for the moment. Live programming resumes on Tuesday, May 3rd at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 9 Eastern, with Back to Basics. Yours truly back behind the controls along with Phil Stamper. From that vantage point on Wednesday, the 4th, happy birthday, Mom. Miss you. Had to get that one in there. Wasn't going to let it go. The To Be Determined show returns live 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central with the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, Angie Tessarian, Clyde Braddock, and the whole gang. We got a lot to talk about because with GCW in the rearview mirror and Peach State Wrestling Alliance in the windshield, or on the windshield. No, it's in the windows right now as we speak. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. And, of course, Thursday night, May 5th. 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central. The Shooters Gallery returns. Got a lot on the table this week. Sports entertainment, and then some. Everything's on the table, and nothing's off the record. For me personally, FastEddieLayne.com. That is where everything is going through right now. There's some stuff that's still going through social media, especially in Instagram. But right now, for all updates, FastEddieLayne, LAYNE.com. BeyondRingside.com is the home site for all things Beyond. Of course, check us out through ProWrestlingRadio.net. Beyond Ringside Radio app available for Amazon, Android, and BlackBerry. To our hosting company server room, please answer your damned emails because I would like to finalize things for the Apple app. Thanks for playing. And, of course, you can find us on LinkedIn, Google+, Twitter, MySpace, Facebook, and coming soon to Periscope. Be ready for that one this Saturday night. Folks, thank you for hanging out with us. We hope you've enjoyed the ride. Babs, thank you for coming on board, I will say, and I'll do the toss to say goodnight. For Babs, our very special guest. That was your cue to say goodbye, everybody.
Oh, okay. I missed my cues. I'm sorry. I'm watching the pay-per-view here, so I was a little distracted with the awesomeness that is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But I want to thank you guys, Eddie and MaBo, for having me back on the show. It was a lot of fun talking Ring of Honor, Excellence, Payback, with you guys, so I enjoyed it. And like I said, anytime you guys want to come and chat on me, chat with me on, the Funky Wrestling Roundup, I would love to do that. But thank you for having me on the show.
And love to have you back on as a guest anytime you're up for it.
Awesome. Thank you.
For Mark MaBo Bowman.
Once again, Babs, thank you for coming on and putting up with our
insanity.
Brand of insanity. And
it's always fun.
And, of course, don't ever forget to feel the flow of 3-point jamokes.
Oh.
And I'll take that as my cue. Until next time, I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, saying adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, arrivederci, farewell, abbassino, au revoir. Until we meet again, friends, aloha means bye-bye, and we thank you for going beyond ringside. Bye for now.
Coming soon to Grindr.